What is up, everybody? Welcome in dfsarmy MLB pre-lock show Tuesday, 12-game slate. I'm joined by Tattoo. Tattoo, how are you doing today?
I'm good. Last night was very frustrating. I when I went to build my single entry, I started hand built Boston, but I was trying to get Mets mini stack, but then it was like so many Mets bets that I liked. I ended up stacking the Mets, and but then my pitching just let me down, and then Tampa Bay happened. But I was sitting in like first,
Yeah,
the top five all night, and then just
I
not even
was.
cashed.
All right, am I back? Because whatever. Um,
Yeah,
yeah, I was super pumped for, I would say, 80% of the slate last night. Um, and then the A's bullpen falling apart late when I was super underweight on Tampa Bay and super heavy on the Mets and some other teams that put up a bunch of runs. So I was winning a bunch of money, and I don't really sweat things out. I just happened to know that I was winning a bunch. Uh, so once the A's bullpen blew my Jacob Lopez game, and everybody went shooting past me because of the ownership on Tampa Bay, it really ruined the night. I went from being in a great mood to just being super annoyed.
well, I'll send you a video later to show you how frustrated I was. But my nephews, one of them moved and left a sofa and a recliner like sitting under my carport, and they're like, "We'll get it in 2 days," and it's been like 6 weeks.
Oh,
So I dragged it out to the middle of my driveway and lit that bitch on fire last night. So I just had like an inferno going in the middle of my driveway.
nice.
I was like, "Well, I'll take care of it for you. Just come pick up the springs."
Yeah. Um, I'm still just super bothered by that A's bullpen, and
Yeah,
I mean, some of it is the fact that my my decision on Jacob Lopez um, coming to fruition with the matchup uh, just felt like it was going to be a great spot where I took a big victory lap,
yeah,
and then the bullpen just. I mean, I should still be very happy in the Lopez thing, but
yeah. Because I was
he left
watching,
his
I was like,
W.
"All right, well, he can still get the win."
Yeah,
And then it was like, "What the fuck just happened?"
yeah. Um, so that was frustrating. I was a little frustrated with the Mets in that they scored a bunch early and then all of a sudden they just went to bed.
I was telling my buddy last night. He's like, "I hope the Braves don't give up," and I was like, "Elder's done this before, where he'll get murdered in the first inning." And then just settle in and get you, 5 or 6 clean after that.
Yeah, and it definitely didn't help that Arizona put up a bunch of runs early too in their matchup with Colorado. Arizona was a lot more popular than I would have thought.
Yeah.
Um, so, but it is what it is. Pretty strong. I
Yeah.
mean, pretty good at the pitching department last night. I mean, Scuba wasn't great, but he wasn't horrendous either.
Yeah.
Um, I mean, he literally made one mistake pitch, and it was a full count pitch to Caglianone, and it turned into a 3-run homer. Like, if
Sonny
that's
Gray was frustrating.
a flyout or a strikeout, he goes 6+ innings and allows one run,
Yeah.
right? So that's the big thing that people don't notice. They just look at the final stat line and be like, all right, yeah, well, Scuba was terrible.
Yeah.
Um, was he though? I don't really think so. Like any of these pitchers, like their night can change with just one pitch. Some nights they get away with that one pitch, and all of a sudden their stat line looks elite. The next time out, they might not get away with that one pitch, and all of a sudden they give up 4 runs. So that's the issue. Speaking about pitching, I feel like we have a lot of pitchers to use tonight. I don't know what your first thoughts are on pitching.
I agree. And normally my pitcher pool is, it's always going to be smaller than yours because I don't need 2 pitchers. So it eliminates a lot of guys. But I still listed like 8 guys. And I felt like I probably could have listed a couple more.
Yeah, I think there's a couple pitchers I pointed out on my pitching video today that I wouldn't argue against you including that I wasn't going to utilize tonight. Pretty sure one of them is your Baltimore Oriole pitcher and Brandon Young.
And I didn't even list him.
Andre Payante, which I'm kind of a little bit more happy that I didn't go that route because looking at the weather, it's super hot in St. Louis. With some wind blowing out slightly too. So it's just a great hitting environment, which now leads us into the most expensive pitcher on the slate. At least on DK, I didn't look at FanDuel. I assume he's probably the second highest owned pitcher or second highest price pitcher on FanDuel because I'm going to guess that they have Cease higher price than Christopher Sanchez.
Cease higher, Sanchez is second.
Yeah, so highest price pitcher on DK is Christopher Sanchez, pitching in that ballpark in St. Louis. Traditionally, St. Louis is a pitcher's ballpark. Excellent hitting weather. What are you doing with Sanchez tonight?
I was debating him because, I was like, he hasn't been the same since the All-Star break. He did have a 61 just a couple weeks ago. And he's not getting blown up. So, I think he's he's not my favorite pitcher on the slate. And it's not my favorite pivot from Cease either, but I definitely have some interest. It's a few hot bats to get around, but definitely in play.
What if I told you that he was about my 7th favorite pitcher on this slate?
I wouldn't disagree with you.
And this is coming from somebody that I've been a huge Sanchez fan for 3 years now, 3+ seasons. There's just a couple things that I don't like. His road splits are horrendous. Like, they're not as bad as Brian Wu, but they're pretty bad. Like, he's allowing an average of 330 or something like that on the road. Just a huge difference between his home road splits. Obviously, recent trends aren't the best for him either. The one thing working for him, I think, is the fact that, if we want to use pitching against St. Louis, not that I'm afraid of their offense, I do want to use a left-handed pitcher, at least. So I guess that plays into it because allowing a ton of base runners, a ton of hits, his whip and average against is double on the road what it is at home. His ERA on the road is 3 times or 3.5 times worse than it is at home. There's just so much about Wu that I can't like on the road, even in probably an upside type matchup. Yeah, I'm going to be under 20% on Sanchez. I think I can get to 12 to 15% and be okay. Cease is, far and away for me, Cease is the number one guy. We've kind of seen Boston peak a little bit, and Gears probably isn't going to agree with me here. The Boston regression probably coming a little bit now, right? Teams just can't say that scorching hot offensively.
Yeah.
for more than a month.
We talked about it last night.
Yeah, and we've kind of seen it in a few games recently. Even this Toronto beleaguered bullpen, Tyon, who got hurt last night, and then Simeon Woods Richardson, who's been atrocious at the major league level. Like, they shut them down pretty much. Like, all that is just like Cease has far and away the highest ceiling on the slate. Yeah, I think people are overvaluing Boston offense because of that hot stretch. Like, you're not going to see Caleb Durbin keep hitting that well. Rafael has come back down to earth a little bit. Wilson Contreras has actually been colder.
Monasterio came back to who he is.
Abreu won't be that hot, but he's still at least decent. But like Jaron Duran still is he hitting like 200 on the season, even with how good the team's been recently? So
yeah, it's like you can kind of always count on Wilson Contreras and Willer Abreu.
Right.
Like you said, they're the guys that you just turn around every week. Their OPS is over 1,000.
Right. Except for recently, Contreras has been down.
But the rest of that lineup.
So that's why, like, Cease is going to be my number one on this slate, and I assume he's your number one on FanDuel, even though he's probably fairly pricey.
Yeah, he's 11,000. Sanchez is 10,700, and he's my favorite. But there's a very close second, and the ownership gap is closed with him on FanDuel too. But
is it Sean Burke?
It is.
Their ownership gap on DK is just 4.5% as well.
Now it was like Sean Burke was not quite half, but it was like maybe like 24 to 15. And now it's 21 and 20.5. They're almost tied.
I'm not sure where he's going to fall exactly in my rankings. I don't think it's going to be number 2. But it's not going to be lower than number 4 either. So it's somewhere in that range. Like I'm very big on Hunter Brown tonight and Ryan Weathers even. But Hunter Brown in my favorite ballpark for pitching. His K numbers have come back up while his walks have gone down, from that terrible stretch. So he's figured some things out. Now I get San Francisco isn't the greatest K matchup. So like that's where Sean Burke probably has an advantage in the comparison. But Cincinnati has a much more potent offense than San Francisco. And even Sean Burke has had a bit more struggles when pitching at home than on the road.
Yeah.
Which I kind of was shocked, but I do also think Sean Burke's kind of pitched above his head for much of the year. We just haven't seen the fall off like we've seen from Davis Martin.
Yeah.
From the White Sox.
The whole team has played above its head.
Yeah, I mean that's definitely the case, and this is around the time where you're going to start seeing teams like that kind of fall off and fade a little bit. I don't know that the White Sox are going to fade because the AL Central just isn't very good.
Yeah, you know where to fade too.
Yeah, so I don't know. He's going to fall somewhere in there. He's probably a better play than Ryan Weathers, but like I'm just really drawn to the spot for Ryan Weathers.
Damn you, Drago, read my mind.
Yeah, we're gonna get there, Drago. But Ryan Weathers, I mean, Seattle's a team that I don't mind picking on.
I like Weathers today.
I just obviously wish Weathers was pitching on the road because he's been better on the road, but I really like Weathers. Like I think Weathers and Brown should be like 10% higher owned than they are on DK. Like I really think that Cease, Burke, Weathers, and Brown should all be like 26+% on DK. and then like the rest of the pitching options just be a lot lower. Um, so that brings in like Blake Snell. What are you doing with Blake Snell at his return from the IL?
From what I hear, he's not going to really be restricted. But, what does that mean for a Dodgers pitcher? We haven't seen him, but once at the beginning of the season? Something like that?
Yeah.
And I don't recall it being anything fantastic. So I really don't know. It's hard for that price, not knowing. Like when Cole came back, we were getting him at like 7,800.
Right.
And like Snell's coming back at 9K is like, okay, I haven't seen a 9K pitcher. So he's tough. At 23% ownership, I definitely think I'd be, I guess, fading him.
I keep going back and forth on whether to fade or not. But I do know that if he does stick in my pitcher pool, he is going to be half that ownership.
Yeah, and that's even more what I meant by fading.
Yeah, I'm obviously a big Blake Snell fan because I love pitching, and like over the number of years, like he's just shown like this elite dominance. He's kind of done this multiple times over the last handful of years where he's missed a big chunk of the season and then come back, in August and been really strong.
Yeah.
He only threw 3 2/3 in his last rehab start. Now that did come with 70 some pitches.
I think like 73 pitches.
So, the theory is if we see an increase of 12 to 15 pitches, we're in the mid 80s. I don't know that they're going to go straight to the mid 80s in pitch count. I think that they probably might limit him at 80 pitches because now over the last number of years, he does have an injury history. The Dodgers, we know, are focused on October, right? So they need to get things to line up correctly.
Kansas City doesn't strike out.
Right. They are weaker against left-handed pitching, but, the problem with Snell is while he's ramping up, he does have control issues. We've seen this a ton, right? Where the first number of starts when he comes back or even beginning a season, like he has a walk issue and he racks up pitch count. So like the worry is like 80 pitches is still only 4 innings. I really think like his max is 5 innings for his first start, because he threw 5 rehab starts and they totaled 11 2/3 innings. And that's, 3 2/3 in the last one. So his first 4 went 8 innings. So he's, as much as it's a pitch count thing, I also think it's a sit down, get back up, sit down, get back up thing where they probably limit him to either 4 or 5 innings. If I had a stronger inclination and I thought it was 4 innings for sure, I would completely fade him. But I think there's a chance he goes 5. And then that's like Drago just brought it up. His props over under outs is 14.5. 5 innings would be the 15 outs.
Yeah.
So like 15 feels like his ceiling. I'm going to be honest. So like, I don't know what the juice is on that bet, but like the under just feels like the smartest side of that bet.
The under is always the smartest.
I don't know what, like, maybe I just need to fade Blake Snell and play the wait and see game until he's like sharper Blake Snell.
I'll let him burn me at 9K.
I'm gonna look. I just want to see what his walks were in the minors in his rehab.
I'm gonna say 500 less you get Burke, 300 less you get Weathers.
Yeah.
Spend 300, get Brown.
So he actually made 4 rehab starts to make the 11 and 2/3. He went 4 innings and then 3 and 2/3 in his last one. And here's the big issue: in his last one is when the walks came up. He walked 4 in that 3 and 2/3 and allowed 2 home runs. That I would feel pretty good about betting the under with the plus money. I just don't think it's as strong as, I don't know what is plus 147 on the other side. Was that minus 170 something to go over? I don't think it's that strong of a lock to go over. Especially against a team that doesn't really strike out all that much, so they could walk more. Minus 198, so like I was way off. Yeah, to me, like, I want to bet the under on that. That's just the way I feel. I might look at, because I can't bet DK or FanDuel here in Wisconsin, I might be looking at underdog and pick 6 for some prop options to see what they have for different things for Snell. But yeah, like, the walks are the big thing. He walked 5 in his 11 and 2/3 of rehab innings. Strikeouts have been there, though. The start that he went 4 innings in his rehab, he struck out 9. So, and I guess that to me is the main worry about fading him, is if we get that Blake Snell like strikeout upside. Yeah, that's a long discussion about Blake Snell. Are there any other guys that you're considering that we haven't really talked about? I'll be able to bring up a few names, but
Drago mentioned him, and I was Brett, left-hander versus Colorado. I can't remember who he faced last time.
San Diego.
Is that when he put up the huge?
Yeah.
So, I guess you gotta consider him. And really, at this point, you gotta consider anybody against the Orioles. So that puts, Ober in play. And you're mentioning Brandon Young. But those would probably be the other guys I would think about.
So I really have no idea what to do with Mitch Bratt. That last game is such an outlier performance for what he's done in the minors all season and what he's done at the major league level this year. Like every other start at the major league level was 9 points or fewer. And his strikeouts were nowhere near that, right? Now, with that said, it is Colorado. It is Colorado on the road against left-handed pitching. Like, that's one of the weakest offenses. The best way to attack Colorado is with left-handed pitching, period.
Yeah.
So I think he's worth 10 to 15%. It feels really bad. And I think there's far less than a 15% chance that he follows up last start with something similar, or just, follows it up with a 25 on DK, or a 45 on FanDuel or whatever, 40 on FanDuel. But he at least has the matchup that I look for. And that kind of leads me into another name that's right underneath him on this ownership ranking or list, is Cody Bradford of the Texas Rangers against the Angels. I played Bradford in his first start off the IL last week. I'm going to play him here against the Angels with the strikeout upside that he offers. He offers the ability to get us strikeouts, a little more expensive than Bratt, but I think I trust him a little bit more.
Yeah.
So Like Bradford is somebody I just want to play. I want to play Nolan McLean, as gross as it feels. Like he has some decent numbers against some of Atlanta. Like he's absolutely dominated Matt Olson, who's one of Atlanta's hotter hitters. So, uh, and McLean's been better on the road. So, I it's tough. I can't really pass on the fact that McLean offers 35 DK point upside. So like I just can't avoid doing that.
Yeah, he was one of the guys that made my list.
Same can be said with Kyle Harrison. He's another left-handed pitcher taking on San Diego. Going back to a week ago, Mitch Brott absolutely dominated him as a left-handed pitcher. I do have a little bit of worry about this calf thing. Like lower leg things for pitchers, along with obviously elbow things, can be an issue, right? Like they use their legs for so much of what they do. And Harrison hasn't exactly been a bill of health. He's spent multiple times on the IL. But from an upside standpoint, he offers it. I think if I'm picking just one, McLean or Harrison, it's Harrison. I think his matchup is slightly better. Ballpark is better for pitching in general. He probably has more K upside in him than McLean does. I think they're both fairly volatile. McLean probably more volatile right now. Harrison's just volatile from a health standpoint, I would guess. So aside from those two, like I scroll down, I'm not on Bailey Ober. His home split numbers from a fantasy point perspective are really skewed because he had that completely random complete game shutout at home. So like I just don't think there's any upside ultimately is what it is. And Brandon Young ended up not making my pool. I wanted him to, but like I'm so interested in a lot of these other guys with huge upsides. Like the four guys that I said that should all be 26+% owned. Plus obviously Bradford and Harrison. Like I'm running out of percentages to use.
Yeah.
So I don't really want to use them on somebody like that. But then I found myself considering Nick Martinez against the A's. And like that feels like a low upside play. I don't know. What do you think I should do there? Because I really don't know. The A's lineup's just been so weak with all their injuries. Like, can Nick Martinez put up 25 again? He's gone for 20 plus DK points in 2 out of his last 3 starts.
75. Yeah, I mean, you don't have to use much of them.
Yeah, he's super low owned.
Yeah, like 0.3, they'll, 1%, blah, blah.
Do I treat him tonight like I treated Jacob Lopez and Noah Cameron last night as my off the wall 8% play? The problem is like he's not really cheap enough to be considered that kind of play, I don't think.
Yeah.
But we also kind of need a little lower price guys. He's kind of like a pivot off of Cody Bradford if he does struggle, with home runs to the Angels or something. And if Bratt struggles against the Rockies, like that blows up all my cheap pitching. If those two were to struggle, I feel like Nick Martinez probably is one of those guys that might not struggle that much. But I don't know. Like maybe I'm kind of overthinking somebody like Nick Martinez. In reality, maybe I should be playing Payante instead of Martinez. because I think he offers a little bit more upside, but maybe not. Like maybe they're really the same scenario.
Yeah.
Martinez, worse ballpark. Payante, tougher lineup to face. So I don't know. Is there absolutely anybody else that we could consider on this slate? Martin Perez? No. Um, Waka against the struggling Dodgers?
Man, I don't hate it. I don't like it. Like I know the bear is sleeping, but I'm not sure I want to go poking him.
Yeah. So I feel like I probably should be considering Waka, especially because we might as well segue over into offenses. Um, and it's because the LA Dodgers are my top stack tonight. I'm going back to just riding the Dodgers until they explode.
Rod didn't tell you exploded.
I mean, somebody's got to explode.
Yeah. Well, I guess if you're riding them, they might explode just into you.
I didn't ride them last night a ton. Like they were a bottom tier team for me.
Yeah.
Because I just don't like them against left-handed pitching, especially right now when they're struggling. But I feel like it's just another spot for me to go right back and continue to be on what on paper is the best offense in baseball. And like even with their struggles, what are they still like top 5 in runs scored? I'm gonna have to look now because I'm curious. But like I assume for you, your number one offense is Tampa Bay.
You know, I honestly have not decided yet. Like I haven't put my stacks in. I wanted to like get through the show and like bounce ideas off and see where we landed. But Tampa Bay would have to be up there.
So, despite all their struggles, the Dodgers are still 4th in baseball in runs and tied for 1st in OPS. So, even with all that, so that to me, like you just, I guess if you're not like me and aren't really committed, like you haven't been playing them while they've been cold, then you probably don't have to force them. But for me, like I've been playing them, I'm just going to keep doing it because I'm not jumping off of this offense, right? Looking at these numbers across the board, number one leverage stack rank. So, but yeah, I mean, Tampa Bay, I'm shocked that they're not the highest owned.
Yeah. I've been trying to figure out what I'm missing with Texas.
I mean, they're just picking on Ryan Johnson, who's been pretty bad overall, but that's tough.
I mean, is he worse than the AAA ballpark bad?
I mean, Texas is in my top 4. But yeah, I just don't see them as that. What do you think about going right back to the New York Mets?
I really like it. Like when I look at their numbers, it doesn't make you feel like you want to go running back, but I mean, momentum and streaks are real.
Yeah, so I almost made the Mets a tier 1 stack again. they ended up being my top tier 2 stack. I like them as both main and mini. Uh, I almost prefer them as a main stack than mini stack because, like, if they're gonna wake up, it's probably gonna be multiple bats and not just one or two players. Um, because even while they've struggled, you've been able to get away with just playing two players and be all right, whether it be Otani and Pajes or Otani and Tucker or Muncy and Tucker. Um, they've hit home runs and stuff during this rough stretch. So, but yeah, the Mets, like, is it chasing last night? That's the big question.
I don't think so because their bats have you know been hot, not
Right.
just last night. I mean, and they have enough guys that are hot recently to support a full stack.
They definitely do. Uh, Darren is great offensively against left-handed pitching, just because now like they're stuck playing like the recently claimed Gabriel Arias from Cleveland. He's playing first base tonight. Torrens is still out of the lineup. I don't know what's going on with him. I didn't look to see if he's got some sort of day-to-day thing going on. But yeah, I thought about that a lot this morning, and I think going back to the Mets isn't necessarily chasing. Um, and I wonder if people are keeping them lower owned because of what the Mets looked like the last 5 innings of that game rather than the first four or whatever it
Yeah.
was. So, yeah, the Mets are at least in conversation to be a top tier stack for me. It's them, Tampa Bay, and the Dodgers. Some combination of those three are going to be in the top. Um, Arizona, pretty popular again tonight. What do you think about those guys as a stack?
Probably a mini stack. I mean, my favorite bat from them is Nolan, but I mean, damn. Of course, he's at third. Well, I mean, third base. I mean, that makes it does make it tough because there's multiple people I like at third base. But I feel like I'd probably mini stack Arizona. I don't know if find. Let's see, Marte. Well, not bad.
I mean, I definitely want to play Marte and Carroll, but I
Yeah.
don't know if Perdomo's playing or not. Like he left last night's game.
He is not.
He's not in the projected or in the official
Not
lineup.
in the official.
Yeah. Um, so that changes the lineup a little bit as well. Um,
So I like there. Nolan is the fourth or fifth highest owned. Fifth.
I mean, looking at these numbers makes me kind of want to adjust my rankings. Um, because Texas and Arizona ended up as tier 2 for me when I did my rankings earlier this afternoon.
Yeah.
And seeing that, like, ownership wise, it's Texas, Tampa Bay, Arizona, and then it just drops in half.
Yeah.
Like, it's those three teams and then everybody else, basically. So, but even with that ownership and the fact that, like, Texas and Arizona have been below average offenses for much of the season, like, they're still top 5 in leverage, too. Um, which is a weird feeling because, like, I almost never fully stack Texas. Um, I fully stack Arizona less and less as the season's gone on as well.
Yeah.
Like, because Ketel Marte hasn't been as dangerous this year as he was last year. So, like, I can get Arizona exposure with, like, Corbin Carroll or Arenado, I guess, but just specifically with Corbin Carroll. Do you agree with Baltimore and Minnesota being in the top 6 for ownership?
Not really.
Yeah, I think I have to agree.
Yeah, I mean, I like, Dodgers better, the A's better, the Mets better, Atlanta better, the White Sox better, Milwaukee better, the Yankees. Well, yeah, not. It's a little high owned. I don't know if it's in a couple players.
Yeah, I haven't.
Gunner's 10, O'Neill is 12. Christian Franklin is 10%.
Jackson Holiday is 9. I mean, the highest Twins guy is 6%. So, but I guess it makes sense because we're only talking about 37% total ownership.
Yeah.
Because it's such a drop off. But yeah, I just don't know if I see both of those, especially Baltimore. Like hitter wise, they just haven't been very good.
Yeah.
Overall. I would much prefer Milwaukee at a third of their ownership. I mean, Milwaukee's facing Walker Buehler.
Yeah.
So I will gladly, they're the worst ranked point per dollar team on the slate. I don't know if you noticed that, which is rough because they're also the 4th highest priced team. I just I don't know how you can not play Milwaukee and be like, yeah, I'm just going to play a bunch of, even Colorado with how bad they've been against left-handed pitching.
Yeah.
Now you get that Colorado ownership might be really just 2 or 3 guys. I haven't looked at individual, but everybody loves to play Hunter Goodman against left-handed pitching, right? He's not even that popular by the looks of things. Or is he not in the lineup? No. Yeah, projected at just 5%.
He's the highest projected of the team.
Yeah. McCarthy's been – so I was looking at this a lot today. McCarthy's been their best hitter against left-handed pitching. Even better than Goodman. So, if Houston wasn't in San Francisco, that's a team that probably should be way up there against Wizenhunt because of all the the numbers on the right side of the screen. Yes, their team total. I think I mentioned it yesterday. Their team total's elevated for being in a game in that ballpark. Weren't they over 5 yesterday too? And that was one of the things I pointed out.
Yeah.
About things that didn't make sense. That doesn't make sense to me. Now, Cam Smith is on fire, but Jordan, Jeremy Pena are kind of ice cold. Paredes is ice cold. Taylor Trammell's not going to be in the lineup against the left-handed pitcher. So, they have a lot of things working against them, ballpark included. It does kind of feel a lot like last night for me all over again.
Yeah.
There's a few teams at the top that I'm super into, and then there's just a bunch of other teams that I see like more negatives to than positives, and that's generally how I try to weigh out my plays. Is like, is there more positives to playing them than negatives? Um,
Did Arizona's ownership drop? Weren't they all above 100?
did it? I'll refresh it. No, I didn't. Ownership, they did just drop. Philadelphia jumped up. Baltimore jumped up even more too. Any other teams jump that I can see? Not that I can tell. Milwaukee a couple percent. Seattle jumped up a little bit. It looks like, but yeah, Arizona dropped what, 25%.
Yeah.
Baltimore went up 10ish. I think Philadelphia just jumped 15 to 20%, because Minnesota's about the same that they were, around 38%, and Philadelphia jumped ahead of them all the way to 54%. And which is weird. Like, so we are just talking about Milwaukee, right? And like their bad point per dollar, but probably a decent matchup with Walker Buehler. Yet Philadelphia, who's nearly as bad point per dollar, is even more expensive than Milwaukee, and have some worse leverage numbers and everything. But they've jumped way ahead while Milwaukee's still way down. So I wonder, like, is the Philadelphia ownership all in two players? I guess is my main question. Because that probably might have something to do with it too.
Yeah.
Like one-off style. Let's see. Not really. Because their two highest projected own right now are Bryson Stott and JT Realmuto. Kyle Schwarber at less than 5.5% would be the fifth highest owned Philly. Which I know Kyle Schwarber did not homer last night, but he had multiple hits and multiple walks for the second straight game. So like that goes along with us talking about how when he warms up, like it just comes in bunches. Any other team that you kind of want to talk about that might interest you from a, I don't know, either off the wall standpoint, or you think that they should be higher owned or anything?
I think we touched on, Milwaukee. I like the Mets. What did we discuss? No, not really. Maybe Atlanta, but McLean's pitched against him twice this year, and neither one were, stellar. I guess I don't know how bad they were, but they weren't, great.
I think one was 13 point something DK points, the other one was 19.
Yeah.
Yeah, like, so you're Atlanta, and then I thought you might say the White Sox, and I probably would have agreed with you tonight.
Yeah, I mean, I do like the White Sox. At least I really love Chase Meredith.
I don't necessarily love the White Sox against left-handed pitching. Like, we can talk about it a lot. Like, Vargas's ISO and OPS has fallen off a cliff against lefties after his hot start to the season.
Yeah.
But I don't know. Lodolo just hasn't looked like the guy that I thought he was going to become a couple of years ago. And he's coming off the IL as well. So I kind of think the White Sox are a team that might be overlooked a little bit. They obviously have some green in their leverage sheet numbers that make it think that they can probably get there tonight.
I think the Braves and the Mets, like, their hatred is up there with the best of them. So their
Yeah,
games are always just wild.
the Mets officially won the season series with the Braves last night with the win.
That's wild.
Saw some Mets Twitter or X or whatever today about how they haven't done that in a number of years. Um, so it was a big deal to them. But yeah,
That's the World Series.
maybe they just like I don't know when you have rough years and you don't reach expectations. Maybe all you have to worry about then is spoiler, right?
Yeah.
Um, Philadelphia needs a lot of help to catch Atlanta right now. But I mean, maybe the Mets are going to relish that part of it. Twins minus 107. I mean, this must be a bot because the Rangers aren't playing the Twins. So I assume that's a bot thing. Plus, the Minnesota Twins are minus 114 right now. So, um,
But
yeah.
put 3 units on it.
Well, too bad we missed the minus 107 boat then,
Damn it.
because they're minus 114 now. But yeah, they play the Orioles, not the Rangers. Um, anyways, that's probably all we have about.
Sound like more like Robin Dollar Tree bets.
Yeah, I'm gonna just see if they say anything else. Otherwise, I'm gonna delete it and ban it. But yeah. Why don't we go position by position? You can give your thoughts or whatever. We're 54 minutes. We've started to go longer and longer with shows,
Yeah.
um, which I guess is probably an okay thing. But yeah, why don't you give your position by position? I'll give mine. You can give some dongs. I don't know that I have many dongs to give yet, but
Yeah,
maybe
I haven't
one or two.
done a deep dive in my dongs. But let's see. Catcher, which I never dig into until too late. Um, probably. I mean, shit, my like Liam Hicks, like Alvarez, Baldwin. Um, easier when I just go to my sheet and I don't get myself as distracted. First base is going to be Matt Olson. Second is Chase Meredith. But you could talk me into Marcus Simeon very easily. Those were like, I wanted to core them, but then I'm like, they're the same position. It's hard. Third base, this is always Junior, but I do like Nolan Arenado. Francisco Lindor is shortstop. I listed your Kalen Culpepper. Outfield, Acuna, Churio, AJ Ewing, and see if Soderstrom stays hot.
So Soderstrom is not in the lineup. It just came out. I was gonna mention that as my Nick Martinez thing. Like I now have moved Nick Martinez ahead of Payante, so Martinez is gonna stay in my pitcher pool because there is no Tyler Soderstrom in the lineup for the A's tonight.
I mean, yeah, that lineup's rough without him.
Yeah.
I guess Jonah Heim is the horse.
Yeah, they have. I mean, Jacob Wilson's hitting third. Wilson. Jeff McNeil's leading off. Donnie Walton's playing second.
McNeil, Geloff, Wilson,
Cortez, Butler,
Heim, Bolt. Walton.
And then Tommy White. At some point, he's going to hit a home run.
Yeah.
And I hope it happens sooner than later because the world is a better place when Tommy's hitting tanks.
Yeah.
Basically it. Tommy's from your neck of the woods somewhere.
East Coast,
I don't remember
Virginia.
where. It's somewhere around your East Coast area. He went to UNC as a freshman and set all sort of freshman home run records in college baseball and then
Do
transferred
you know
to LSU.
which state has the most Major League Baseball players?
I mean, it should be California, shouldn't it? Or Texas?
I believe it's North Carolina.
Is it North Carolina?
Yeah.
I mean,
Now that could have changed, but like a couple of years ago, because I was like, "What? North Carolina?"
I know for a while is North Carolina where like Ryan Zimmerman and the Uptons were from, or are they from West Virginia? Or Virginia? They were from Virginia or something.
Yeah.
There was something in that area, but like it was Ryan Zimmerman, both Uptons, Michael Kadire. Like it was a big group of guys that all made it to the major leagues
Yeah.
from a small area. But yeah, I digress. My guys at the position by position. As much as I love or I like to play Christopher Sanchez, my number one catcher is Ivan Herrera. He's been the hottest catcher in baseball recently. Does have a home run off of Sanchez. Over the last week, he has 12 hits, and 6 of them have gone for extra bases. So for me, it's Ivan Herrera. If you're not wanting to pick on Christopher Sanchez, then it's probably Gabriel Moreno. First base for me, number 1 is Kyle Schwarber. Number 2 is Freddie Freeman. So, like, I'm just spending way up at first base at this point. Second base, don't love the position overall. Bryson Stott, Ketel Marte, Royce Lewis, I guess. Third base, you mentioned J-Cam, makes a ton of sense. My favorite is actually Bo Bichette.
Yeah.
He's
I love
7 for 15 off of Perez and an OPS of over 1,100 across the last week. So things just kind of line up for him in this spot. Shortstop Lindor, obviously, you mentioned, is probably my favorite. Zach Neto, probably a guy that goes a little bit overlooked. Otherwise, yeah, you mentioned Culpepper, or there's George Lombard Jr. Two really high ranked prospects that have come up and had some success already, and they're both sub 3K. Like Culpepper was probably still down low twos on DK. Outfield. This is a slate where my outfield list is gigantic compared to the rest of my position list on the website. So it makes it really, really tough. But my number 1 outfielder, now I have to, is Cam Smith. Bad ballpark for sure, but he homered there last night, and he's just hitting a bunch of home runs recently. Super low ownership, so I will gladly take Cam Smith. Corbin Carroll is near the top for me. Brandon Nimmo is another one. Just keeps hitting somehow. Like OPS of over 1,200 over the last week. I get that Texas is a little bit more popular than we like to see. And Nimmo is one of those guys that's super popular on this slate. But just makes a ton of sense to me. And then just pick any of the Mets young outfielders, Ewing or Benj.
Yeah.
Basically. So I guess it's only 2 of them. But makes a ton of sense. Kyle Tucker, Victor Mesa Jr., a guy from a popular Tampa Bay squad that's getting overlooked. 2% ownership on DK right now is his projected number.
That's the guy that makes it different when
you want to differentiate your Tampa Bay stack. Get yourself Victor Mesa over Cedric Mullins or over Chandler Simpson, even though I love Chandler Simpson and I bet him to steal a bag tonight. He's the highest owned projected outfielder right now, so I don't think you can go wrong by fading Chandler Simpson because you're not going to miss out on home runs. So, yeah, Tattoo, you give out your dongs. I'll give my closing spiel, and then we'll get out of here.
Frustrated because Dinger of the Day would not let me add players from the Cubs game.
Did it start?
Starts at 6:40.
Oh, I wonder if that one we might just have to run by uppers to get them to reload the file.
But I think that game could be Juicy Lucy. I really like Pete Crow and Suzuki. CJ and Dylan Cruz, I like. Harper, I like Alonso tonight. And where were we at? Corey Seager, Cam Smith. Not the easiest place to hit a home run, but. And Francisco Alvarez.
Yeah, you really just kind of took whoever I might just throw out there anyway. So like, I don't really think I have anybody else to add at this point. Maybe a little off the wall one, even though his odds aren't really super high, would be J-Rod. I just always like Julio against left-handed pitching.
Yeah.
And we know that Weathers can have some struggles. And then obviously include Victor Mesa in your dingers. And Kyle Tucker, who's been hitting home runs recently. So he's probably my Dodger choice to hit a home run tonight.
My oddball would be Harry Ford.
Always like a good Harry Ford.
Yeah. Especially when you got a Manjana, a Manigma, well, Managa.
And Managa? Yeah.
Yeah. You mean what?
Yeah. I think that's all we got. I'm trying to look at really off the wall guys. Like Christian Yelich homered last night, and I think he's had some decent success against Walker Buehler. Yeah. So like at plus 970, I think you can do worse, for value from a home run standpoint. Otherwise, yeah, like
Tyler O'Neill,
Carson Bench, some guys that are way down this list. Hector Rodriguez, there's a name. Hit a bunch of home runs in the minors for the Reds. Plus 770 to homer off of Sean Burke tonight.
Zach Geloff
homered in his return last night, didn't he?
I think.
I feel like Jackson Merrill is homered in 3 straight games. He's plus 750 yet. Tough spot left, but
Riley Green.
So yeah, we can definitely find some dinger calls for people, but
yeah. Speaking of, I don't know why Dylan Dingler reminded me, but I've been on watching older movies thing, and I watched Tombstone again last night. God damn, that's so good.
I do love watching Tombstone. That is an excellent movie to watch numerous times.
Yeah, I told I jumped on with Geek last night, and then Taco got on. We were talking about trying to find something to watch, and I said I'd watched Remember the Titans 2 nights in a row again, because that's so great. And I watched Pulp Fiction, then I watched Inglourious Bastards again.
I have not watched a movie in a long time because I have not turned on my television in a month or more. So I just don't really watch television anymore. So it is what it is.
I don't watch television. I watch YouTube and I watch sports. You know?
I do.
I don't have cable or anything like that.
I do most of my watching at my desk, so on one monitor.
Yeah.
So it is what it is. But yeah. Anyways, we're rambling on about random shit.
I'm starving.
If you are members of DFS Army, hit us up in Discord with questions, etc. I see there's a bunch of questions already in there. If you aren't a member of DFS Army, why the hell not? Scrolling at the bottom of the screen is our best coupon code at the moment. Book, B-O-O-K, gets you 20% off any DFS Army sub. Baseball, football, Core 4, all of it, whatever you want, that promo code works. There's a link in the description below. You can check it out. We have a merch store. You want to get some of our merch, get either of our faces on your stuff. We have some options there. Hit us up. We'll get you that link. Otherwise, we're back tomorrow, I think around the same time. I don't remember the daily schedule for the MLB tomorrow, but I assume roughly 4 o'clock Central Time, 5 Eastern. If we don't win, hopefully one of you guys does and hits us up with screenshots showcasing your W's on the night. Hopefully my lineups can hold on to W's tonight, unlike last night. And maybe Tattoo can take down a single entry. We're out. We'll catch you tomorrow. Helmets up.
The best coaches in the game, we really ain't playing. We regroup up in the Slack chat where the coaches debrief. We be piecing these puzzles, occupy the chunk of the pie. Ain't no lie when we hit the block, helmets casket is top. You be seeing helmet after helmet, helmet after helmet. First place, second place, fifth place, eighth place, 12th place, 15, 16, 20. So many helmets, you got blurred vision, we got too many. Tick the check. Oh man, shit. They got us fucked up. Army, regroup. We pledge always to have that edge. We don't fire warning shots. Competition just dropped. We locked and loaded before lock. Whatever the time, yeah. Do you even correlate?
Being the best requires a willingness to outwork your competition. There's always someone smarter, faster, sharper, more naturally gifted.